when you arrive at the chapel, 15 minutes before the 7:15 Mass begins and everything, you come into the sacristy here and you start to get all the liturgical gear that we need to be able to set up for Mass. So why don't we start up in the upper left-hand drawers here. Over here is the communion cups, and we use one communion cup, and then the next door over, we get the lavabo bowl. This is the bowl that the priest uses to wash his hands. Moving across to the next set of cabinets, we get the liturgical books down. We need the Roman Missal, which is a red book. We need the lectionary, and this year we're using Volume 2, Year 1, right over on your left-hand side, right here. There we go. And we have our petitions for the prayer of the faithful. And these are the three liturgical books that we will be using. Okay? From here, we have to go now and get my chalice. My chalice, that's Father Kelly, is located on the bottom portion of it. Please keep in mind that that is my personal chalice, so when another priest is saying Mass, other than myself, we would not be using my chalice and paten. This is the paten and the chalice. If you would be very careful in handling the chalice and paten, that they do not drop, nor are they ever placed on top of each other, okay? That is not done. You might think that, well, when another priest is saying Mass, what chalice do we use? So we go back up to the top here, and we take the chalice there on the left. So, and then the paten down, and use those two for any other priest, but besides my own there. In addition here, we have what we call it a liturgical pillow. That's to place on the altar later, to hold for it's easier to read for the book. Now we need to get our lavabo finger towel to where we wash dry the priest's hands, and that is always placed inside the lavabo bowl, like that. Then we get one corporal for the altar, and we will get 2 purificators. The purificator is to clean the chalice and the communion cup. So purificator means to purify, to clean, much like a towel. In addition, you can see there's a key at the top. We need the key to the tabernacle. And if you could just show that, the key to what the key to the tabernacle looks like, we have that. Now we need to get the water and wine, if you like to set up for that. So you come to this cabinet here, opening it all the way up so they can see. There's some wine, and there's a good example of the fact that sometimes we are running out of wine. So where do we get the next bottle if this should happen? You will find in this cabinet here a case of wine, and you just reach in and get one at that particular time. Please keep filling it. Okay, and the hosts are there as well. Did you want to get some hosts out? Turn so they can see. How much wine do we put in for the weekday Mass?
Right about here or so.
Yeah, right there. Okay, so go ahead and fill it up so we'll know. That's enough hosts. We only put a couple hosts out there.
Will you open this?
You want me to do that?
Yeah, please. Thank you.
Okay, and here's the other host that the priest uses, so you'll put one of them in the paten. And then you fill up the water cruet. Let the water run a little bit, because it's been sitting in a tap all night long. And then you add the water, okay? And you can fill that up. That doesn't matter. Water's cheap, okay? And then we have tops for that, okay? You put the lids on for the communion. So there are all your liturgy. Then you would put the wine away at that point there. If you have to discard an empty bottle, it goes into the trash can. And so there you have all the things that you need that you want to make sure is arranged here before you leave. In addition is this blue Ordo, and this is what will tell you what colors we use liturgically for a feast day or if it's a regular weekday. Mrs. Blackstone-Gardner will teach you all the ramifications of all the little codes that are in here after class gets going. And we put this as a pall, and we put this on top of the chalice like that, okay? Other than that, we're all good. And now we have to put the liturgical books out. So the Roman Missal goes over to the table next to the presider, the priest's chair. That's the presider's chair. And then you can see that the lectionary and the Prayer of the Faithful book is being brought up, and it's being put on the lectern and opened up to the proper page. We'll talk about lectionary in a little while. And then the Prayer of the Faithful goes underneath at this particular point. In addition, let's not forget that we have the key to the tabernacle. That small key that we took out comes, I'm just going to lower my voice, goes in and one always genuflects when they enter. Always genuflect. When you enter, you put the key in the tabernacle and you genuflect to leave. Okay, now the liturgical gear that was in the sacristy needs to come out here to be set up for the altar. So the altar servers, you're on that team that week, would come out and we put the liturgical pillow right on the chair. This is called a credence table. And this is where we put the corporal and the purificators. This is where we put my chalice. You have to be very careful there, okay? And the pap. And then we would put the communion cup here because that's the next thing that's going to come out. And then you actually have the water and wine cruets along with the lavabo bowl. Okay? One of the last things you have to get done before Mass begins is to light the 2 candles for Mass. And so as you can see, they come out of the stand in the bottom. And sometimes you have to, if you're on the shorter side, you may have to just even bend it over a little bit so that you can see the wick. Once you have it lit, be very careful in putting the candles, they go right back into the holder there. Don't let your lighter go over the altar in that fashion, okay? Because there's a chance that you can drop some particles on the white linen, and that really damages the altar cloth. So avoid the altar cloth and and light the second candle. Great, and they get back up on the stand at that point there. Okay, when we're about 2 or 3 minutes before we're ready to start Mass is when you want to pick up the processional, determine who's going to carry the processional candle and who's going to be carrying the 2 candles themselves. The processional candle, if I can have, is a little bit challenging but not impossible. What you do is you come up, you pick it up with 2 hands, and you notice that this is a brass bottom and this is a wood hole. Some people have a tendency of having difficulty in getting it in. So all you have to do is place it down in there, and it will go right down. And then make sure that Jesus is in a prone position. One of the tendencies that I see a lot of students do is they try to put the crucifix in this style. You can't get it in if you're looking, okay? The easiest thing to do is just make sure it's near the bottom, look up, and if you have Jesus straight, he will fall in this particular stanchion here. So even picking it up with one hand is not that difficult, but when you put it in here, don't keep looking down here and trying to force it. Just look up and make sure he is straight, and it will fall right in, okay? And we're simply just waiting right here. We're waiting for the 7:15 bell to ring. When the school bell rings, as soon as it's finished, we start Mass. On a feast day, that might be for a martyr. These are the red, there's red and there's green, and obviously we already have white out. White is our normal color that's out. We're actually filming right now in the Easter season, but green is used for the ordinary time. So when it is red, we would change out this particular mantle with the red, and then in turn take the other red mantle, and this is where you place it on the altar. Knowing when you're putting red on and green on, or just leaving it white, is all in the Ordo, that blue book that I told you that Mrs. BSG is going to be able to show you. So you can see, you run it along the side of this altar. It's not a matter of just throwing it on there, okay? There is a seam to it, so all you have to do is get the seam in the middle, and you'll know that your sides are going to fall perfectly. No problem at all.